Brought to you by Penguin.
Children of Radium, written and read by me, Joe Dunthorne. This book is for my mother. Is the invisible visible? Interview with Wilhelm Röntgen following his discovery of X-rays in November 1895. Chapter 1. Perpetual Sunshine. 1. My grandmother grew up brushing her teeth with radioactive toothpaste. The active ingredient was irradiated calcium carbonate, and her father was the chemist in charge of making it. Even before it was available in shops, he brought tubes home to his family. Under the brand name Doramad, it promised gums charged with new life energy and a smile blindingly white. Their apartment was so close to the factory that she fell asleep listening to the churning of the autoclave. When they were forced to leave Germany in 1935, they took tubes of it with them, their suitcases gently emitting alpha particles as they travelled 1,000 miles east. During the war, she learned that the toothpaste her Jewish father helped create had become the preferred choice of the German army. A branch factory in occupied Czechoslovakia ensured that the troops pushing eastwards, brutalizing and murdering, burning entire villages to the ground, could do so with radiant teeth. Not that she ever told me this. What I knew about my grandmother's life had all come second-hand, anecdotes worn smooth with each retelling. When my mother gave me a ring for my wedding, she told me it had escaped the Nazis in 1935. I looked at the oval bloodstone, black with flecks of red, picturing their getaway with the unique clarity of someone untroubled by having done any research. It was my uncle who gave me a poster of the smiling, yellow-haired Doramad girl, glowing from the inside. I pinned it above my desk and began to write about my grandmother's childhood. The project was going well, until an intervention from the person whose actual life it was. I tried to interview my grandmother at her home in Edinburgh. This was more than a decade ago. Sitting in a low chair, wearing a fuzzy woolen jumper that made her seem out of focus, she let me know that I was not ready. Whatever questions I asked were not the right ones, and I remember her yawns becoming increasingly aggressive until at last she said, "Look, why don't you just read a book about it?" Some months later, I tried once more, explaining that I had now read a book about it, an award-winning and nuanced cross-generational memoir about a wealthy Jewish family's persecution and migration from Odessa to Vienna to Paris, a masterpiece of the form and perhaps a template for how to approach her own life story, and which, it turned out, she had already read and hated. She handed it straight back, saying, "No, it wasn't like that." So what was it like? I didn't dare ask again. A part of me imagined that one day, near the end, she might take my hand and start talking, unburden herself, the decades falling away, and that would be a sign to reach for my notebook. Instead, there was slow creeping dementia, and with it, depression. She had always been funny and honest, and even when that honesty tipped into cruelty, she used to get away with it because she laughed often with her head thrown back. But now she stopped laughing and started to burn through carers at the rate of one a week, could bring them to tears on their first visit. Her Scottish-German accent gave her put-downs a special power, and she could be just as hard on herself. "Some people are awful kind," she told me once, as I pushed her wheelchair through the park. "And some people are like me."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?